Here we go. Okay, so Sizz, Assault, Mzinc, Recon, Vol, support with the super. We got Talibus, Assault as expected. Lizard, Recon, okay. And Dragon M support. And there's a weapon trade immediate super onto the Recon for Lizard. So Lizard is very much going to determine the outcome of the beginning of this round for sure. Pushing through tunnel. Through storage. Looking for a pick. Will they find it? Get the angle on a tree. Does not find it. Chip damage coming here as we have an engagement on Fending. This is eating a grenade there. Bang goes the super as Lizard reacting to the teammates' calls there. Marta looking for the retread, does not find it. However, Marta needs to be very careful here because we see a ghost pickup. We see SLI around Z ladder, potentially looking at Horseshoe as well. Marta on kitchen here, just rotating around. And mid Vol very much just dancing around in their spawn. Bunkered up here on mid around rocks for SLI. They're going to push over the border. Here comes through pit. Marta stuck in kitchen here. Not Church P as well for the Recon. There goes chip damage. Weapon drop here from Lizard. Allows Marta to get the pick there on Dragon M. Which takes the support off the table. Lizard gets the super, however. Meanwhile, Marta finds Talibus, gets his free down on his HP. Finds Lizard, but Lizard has the super, is able to clear it. Vol has a super, is very dangerous right now, but gets flanked by Talibus. So yeah, first pick, pincer movement, map control, objective player. It's what we expect. This is how Envoy plays. We do not have a corporal for either team, so very much still an even playing field. However, Marta does get the super weapon trade here. We do not have a weapon trade for SLI. Oh, no, they do. ZRC. Yep, ZRC on the Lizard. Open my window. Ooh, that grenade almost finding Sizz there, knocks him down to 34 HP. However, they do have ghost control. Lizard has a flank here, watching over Z and Suicide. Sizz very much penned in here on Suicide. Marta coming through Z, looking for an angle, does not find it. Vol gets Lizard. Careful though, Vol with the reload on the SRM, 42 HP. Yep, traded out by Talibus. Does not have the weapon here. Sizz needs to be very careful because I believe Dragon M's going to find him, and he does. Marta has a flank here, gets one, can get a second. Needs to be very careful though. There's a smoke there. Ghost control is in Dragon M's favour. SRM, very lethal here. Marta can get chip damage, does not land the shot. Marta could look to force a reload here. Just not landed shots. Allows Dragon M to clutch it out with the SRM there. Reliable automatic weapon. Coming out on top against the super. Not quite so super duper. Do we see more weapon trades? Yes, another weapon trade here for Equinox. Super onto Mzinc here. However, we do have an MX support in Dragon M ZRL for Lizard. Lizard on Suicide. Looking to watch that mid, but they're not playing mid. They're on Horseshoe. They're on Horseshoe. Got to be careful here, SLI. I think Dragon M will call it out. Sizz drops down in the basement. Mzinc watching spawn. Needs to be very careful because Lizard has the angle here. Talibus watching mid as well. Dragon M routing around to Z here. Now Equinox are very much pending. Yeah, Dragon M watching that Horseshoe, smokes it out. Sizz lighting out like a boss. Marta gets called out there, gets chip damage as well, potentially by the ZRL and ZRS. There goes the second shot there on Sizz. Sizz has a nade, here it comes. Bit too far. Now Sizz is stuck. Sizz doesn't have a... They do not have a weapon to trade out here. Yep. Range. Coming out on top there for Talibus. However, Emsing does find Dragon M, but now they're down to 11 HP and they're about to get pushed by a recon. Misses the first shot, gets mill sword, didn't watch that, there's close control, and that was going to be a cap. But Talibus says, hey, I taste blood. Triple corporal here for SLI. Equinox stuck on private here, 1 point away from corporal for Emsink. Do we see enough weapon trade? Weapon trade's not quite working for them here. The super isn't really doing the job. They did get 1 kill, but I think they could have got more with SRM. Here comes a det pack from Lizard. Probably going to put it on to Horseshoe. Just in the entrance of the kitchen. Nade goes out, does not find the target. However, Dragon M on kitchen. Got Marta here, pushing ladder. Here comes the ladder push. Will they find someone? Needs to be very careful. They get called out. Gives themselves away with a shot as well. Nobody's there. Reroute does not find the target. Damage here coming out onto Lizard. However, they do still have a ZRSL, so they can easily even the playing field here with 1 headshot. Chip damage onto Suicide. Dragging them, smoking up on rocks. Sizz lagging out. Emsink, however, does find Lizard, takes the ZRL off the field. That danger is now gone. Equinox can very easily take control right now. The det pack as well, off the field. SLI electing to take control of mid still. Emsink giving the position away with a little bit of pre-fire now. Dragon M knows that they're going to get pushed from kitchen. But Emsink reroutes, goes basement. Backs off. Are they going to push? Are they going to push down? All the time in the world here, rerouters. Dragon M finds Sizz. Sizz out in the open and does not have cover. A 2v1 there. Emsink does get 1, however, Talibus able to trade out. Now it's down to Vol with the super. And Talibus has no info. If Vol can push through, pick up the MX. There it is. Now Talibus knows where you are, but you have the MX. Be careful. That's the time. Does not win. Also gives the Sergeant a Talibus as well. So that's double MX for SLI. Very dangerous territory right now. 3-0 in favour of SLI round 5. There's 1 MX, there's 2 MX. Marta sticking with it, JT. However, they do the weapon trade again. Okay, let's watch Emsink. What are you going to do, mate? Because you're not getting value right now. You got... Here comes a push through Horseshoes. Smokes around the edge. We've got det pack watching Horseshoe. Damage onto Vol. Dropped down to 36 HP because of the MX. And they had the JT, so they can't trade out. Dragon M taking mid control. Sizz watching that smoke. Here comes a nade. Potential. You're going to throw it? No, you're going to lag out. Here comes a nade. It bounces off rocks. Does not find target. Lizard watching that Horseshoe like a hawk. Chip damage coming out here. Sizz pending once again. MX just proving to be too much. Here comes Vol pushing through storage, however, taking map control a little bit. Can get a flank here. Smoke on the tree there, which blocks out Talibus's angle. Sizz has Marta on his flank. He engages, he has help, but there goes the MX again. Chip damage from the super just not really working. Vol, however, has the flank, gets 1, can get a second, but is out in the open. MX too strong. Marta gives us herself away with the ladder. Here we go, Dragon M with the ghost. Marta trying to kill the ghost carrier, but there's a ring. Goes the ZRS, but bang bang goes the Kyler. So a little bit of a chaotic conclusion to that round. 4-0 in favour of SLI. map 1 very much in SLI's favour here. It is their map pick, so it's what we would expect. Tilde double MX for SLI with a ZRL for Lizard. Do we see a weapon trade from Equinox? No. Oh. ZRS onto the recon here, but they fail the trade completely. Everyone's just throwing their weapons all over the place.
I don't think
Marta
has a weapon.
Marta just leaves the weapon behind and is back on shit there. However, there's a ZRS in spot. Oof. Oof. Finally, Marta gets ZRS, but now everybody's out of position and map control is in SLI's favour. Smoked out here on Horseshoe from Dragon M. We've got Lizard on a perch here on Bamboo. Vol's pushing through. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. Force a close quarters encounter. We've got Talibus here on mid. Looking to get an angle, but Dragon M just goes, just going to shoot you in the face. Dropped down to 14 HP, however, meanwhile Equinox losing mid. Marta does get a flank here with a ZRS. Can kill the support with 14 HP. Lizard only has a ZRL, so this is going to be very difficult here. If Marta can find one pick, gets one. MX, however, for Lizard. Ooh, the pre-fire. Now he needs to reload. Now he needs to back off. Now he needs to reposition. And if Lizard gets an angle here, it's all over. Ooh. But Lizard's hops, giving his position away. He doesn't know where Marta is. Christ, that was a difficult kill to watch. But that does get Marta the Sergeant. Now, what do you do? Okay. Ball Sergeant, Ball Corporal going for MX on the support, yes. Marta, Sergeant with ZRC, he's looking for a weapon trade, he expects it. Lizard is sat, he's waiting for me to tell him where Marta was. I'm not going to do that. Ghost is on Horseshoe. Lizard is pushing pit. Gets some map control here. Gets an angle. Dirty grenade there. And double kill for Talibus. Fast, aggressive push. Gets the angle on one. Gets the angle on the second. Dragon M closes around. 5-1. So Equinox do get around there. However, we're now pushing towards match point territory. Round 8 of 15. Leave one more round win. We'll push it. ZRS here onto MSync. Here comes the pre-nades across mid. There goes one. There goes two. Ooh, neither finds the target. However, Talibus just says, I'm just going to push forward, so I have an MX, I can kill you anywhere. I know there's only one assault at any one time on mid, because you're playing split across all lanes here. There's the one pick-off. Second pick-off is not quite found. Marta needs to run right now through tunnel. Got to be careful here. Talibus doesn't know where he is. Neither does Dragon M. He could get the flank on Dragon M, but Dragon M has the HP and damage reduction to take the shots to allow Talibus to turn this into a 2v1. If Talibus reacts to his push, there's the weapon pickup. I think Talibus heard it. Yeah, Talibus may have heard that, but doesn't quite know where they are. However, MSync doesn't know where they are either. MSync is checking that ghost. Can MSync cap? No. Nah, he can't. He elects to engage on the support. Lands a couple shots. Not quite enough. About the same here on the weapons. However, we have ZRC trade for A12 onto Lizard. So let's watch Lizard. Let's see what he does. He needs to be aggressive here to get value. He needs to not die immediately. Through to Horseshoe. Bumps his head. Gives himself away. Bang, bang, bang goes the air. gets a kill, gets shredded out by Sizz. Good job, Sizz. Sizz, get the air, my friend. Gets the air. Immediately out of cover on his own. Dies to the support, lands one shot, but it's not enough. And now Dragon M has the AA. This AA is a slut. It's changing hands like the village bicycle. All is silent, however, Talibus is on the hunt nearby. Oh, nice job, nice flank. Reload, my friend, because here comes Dragon M. Ball is not silent walking, so I think Dragon M does know where he is. If Ball's not careful here, Dragon M is coming up behind. I think Dragon M can hear him. Yeah, bang, 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 goes the air. That's the round. 7-1 to SLI. Right. Okay, what are we doing? Mossock on Sizz. Really? Again, on to Lizard. Gonna push through Horseshoe again, potential? Or are you gonna drop down basement? You're gonna drop down basement. Broke, however, Talibus does get Emzik in the meantime. Now here comes Lizard, pushing through Z. Looking for a pick. Doesn't need to find the pick because Talibus is just killing people with a ZRC. ZRC headshots are very strong. And here comes Bursa. Probably is looking to replace Marta in the next map. Down to Vol here, who is in an interesting position. Don't have the. I don't think they have the ghost call yet. No, they don't. They don't know where he is. They don't need to know where he is because Lizard finds him. And that's map 1. So they are going to be switching out Emzink for Bursa. Thank you very much, Emzink, for stepping in to enable the game to play.